So which gear items am I going to be taking on the John Muir Trail this year? Stay tuned and we're going to find out. So first and foremost, all the clothing I picked was fitting for the Sierra Nevada environment. Very lightweight, easy, quick drying. They're all synthetic materials. All right, so we'll start off with my shirt. I've got the Columbia, one of the PFG long sleeve lightweight shirts. PFG is the pro fishing gear line that they have, and the one I'm taking is going to actually have the little hoodie in the back for some sun protection from my bald noggin. Pants of choice is the Columbia Silver Ridge. Again, these are nylon, very lightweight synthetic material, and they are convertible. So you can take these off if you want to just wear them as shorts and switch back and forth as needed. I like wearing these actually in camp in the evening because they're just about the right amount of covering to keep the bugs off of you and a little bit of warmth at the cool night start. Underneath it all, I got the Ex Officio underwear. This is like a 5-inch inseam, not very long, but it's just enough to keep the chafing from happening between your legs. Very quick drying, and I'll probably end up wearing these or another item I'll have in the backpack for swimming. If we have decided to jump into the lake in the afternoon or into a river to cool off, these are perfectly long enough to act as a swimsuit as well. All right, so my headgear. I'm actually taking 2 hats with me. This is the Outdoor Research Vantage. It's a medium-sized brim hat. I really don't like the ones that really hang way out. It's just too much for me, plus the back of them tend to hit my backpack. Just pretty annoying. So this one's a pretty decent width, and it's all totally vented on the top. So I will have to probably take a little bit of sunscreen on me when I wear this hat. But for the most part, it's going to wick really well. I do tend to sweat a lot without having the hair up top. Now I'll swap out the wide brim hat with the Outdoors Research Swift cap. This is more of a running style cap, but I do tend to wear this a lot better and vent better with it. So if I do wear that and I need a little more sun protection, wind protection, I can always pull up my hoodie off the shirt. My gloves are going to be Outdoor Research. These are the Active Ice sun gloves from Outdoor Research. I used to be wearing the these are called Glacier gloves. Very similar to this, but even after the short time I was on the JMT last time, they stretched out and were really loose. These are a much better fit. Got lots of grip on the palm side as well. So I just tend to like these better. So my footwear for the trail. Yeah, you might be wondering why I got 2 pairs of shoes here. My primary hiking boot is going to be the Merrell Moab 2s. These are the ventilator version, so if I do get them wet, they'll dry out really quick. You can take the insoles out as well, dry even quicker. I'm also going to be taking my brand new Lone Peak 5s. These are the Ultra Lone Peak 5s. I have the 4.5s, which I've been wearing for the last year or so. They didn't hold up too well, they weren't comfortable, and they also hurt my feet after a while. What I found with Lone Peak 5s is they have a lot more cushion, and the new rock guard that they put in them really helps out with the feel of the trail as well. So my socks of choice on the trip is going to be the Darn Tough brand socks, and this particular one here is the Cool Max. So it's a little more venting, keeps you. It's not as heavy weight as the regular Darn Tough socks might be. The mid-weights. These are called Cool Max, and they do actually help keep your feet a little cooler. My feet tend to sweat a lot less on these. And for my Ultras, I do have a pair of the Dirty Girl Gators because they are pretty low cut and a lot of sand and rocks in the Sierra, so this will help to keep the rocks and stuff out of my ankles. So one additional thing to consider is most of this clothing here, with the exception of the shoes probably, will be treated with the Sawyer insect repellent. This is their permethrin brand spray bottle. So I'm going to spray all these clothes down. So the insect repellent should last through about 6 washings of the clothes, and it'll keep bugs off for the whole trip. Alright, moving on to my big 3. Pack I'm carrying this time is basically the same one I took last time. However, it is a new replacement pack. This is the Osprey Exos 58. Love the Exos 58. It really kind of cuts the difference between heavy weight load and an ultralight pack. It is not ultralight, it's more of a lightweight category, but it only weighs in the 2-pound range rather than the 4 or 5 which I used to carry with my Atmos. So great pack, lots of storage pockets and places to put things. Inside it I'm going to be taking the Osprey 60-liter liner. That's just for keeping everything dry in case things get wet on the trail, which they probably will. Also have a pack cover. Not so much for the waterproofness of it, because these things don't really keep all the water out just because of the way they're mounted to the pack. This is more of, try to shed as much water as you can, because this will actually soak up water, and then you got a heavier pack that you're carrying around for a while. So this is really meant as shedding some of the water, but most importantly, I like it because if I got to set the pack down, it's not going to get the pack all dirty and muddy and all that. So it's got several different reasons for protection. My tent of choice this time is the Big Agnes Copper Spur HV UL1. If you watch any of my previous videos, I took this on the Highline Trail in Utah, and worked great. Really cut down from my Copper Spur 2, so I'm carrying a lot less weight, and it does have a lot of options inside it for storing items up in the lofts and the side pockets. Very sturdy too. This thing survived some pretty high winds up there when we were doing our shakedown hike on Mount Timpanogos. So I have a lot of confidence in the Big Agnes Copper Spur. Alright, so my sleep system. Got several pieces here, and I count it all as my sleep system because it all counts towards the weight. I'm taking the REI Magma 10. Granted, this is probably just a little bit more than what I need in the Sierra this time of year, but I'm a cold sleeper. It doesn't weigh a whole lot, and it is a down bag, so it does keep you very, very warm. The 10-degree is pretty much spot on. For me, it's probably about a 20-degree bag, just because, like I said, I'm a cold sleeper. It is the mummy style bag. And underneath my bag, I'm going to be using the Thermarest Neo Air X Therm. This is the one with the high R value. I think it's a 6 or 6.9, I believe. So I actually haven't used it on trail yet. I have pumped it up here at home once, but I'm eager to try this out. I've heard really good things about the Thermarest. And my convenience item is the Xped air pillow. I gotta have a pillow. I can't sleep on a bag of clothes and stuff like that. Basically, you just 2 breaths, this thing is done, and you have a pillow for the night. And that is my big 3. Alright guys, let's just talk about electronics. So this is my complete electronic setup for the GMT. I'll start over here with my headlamp, which is the Nightcore NU25, and I've basically taken the headband off and done a little mod with some bungee paracord. Altogether, this thing is weighing about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces. It's hardly anything. I'm not 100% convinced I'm going to keep the mod. It seems a little flimsy for me, especially on being out in the wilderness like that, but we'll see. I've got the headband with me in a resupply kit at Mammoth, so I can always change it out if I need to. I am taking an InReach. This is the InReach Explorer Plus. This is basically, you can do a little bit of navigation, tracking especially, but for the most part this is just for peace of mind for my family. It's really a demand of my wife's, which is fine. I like communicating with her every once in a while out there on the trail. But anyway, it has a lot of capability. I can text or email her, plus people watching my progress on the trail can get onto my map share page and actually send me messages and communicate that way. It's pretty cool. So for filming on the trail, I've got several different devices. First of all is I have a Canon G7X Mark II, which I'm actually filming with right now, so you can't see it in my hand. Very versatile point and shoot camera. It has a few capabilities similar to a DSLR. Has a very highly sensitive sensor, so it's good for my astrophotography, and that's primarily what I'm taking it for, but it can also take some pretty good scenic shots. For the majority of my filming, I'm going to be using the GoPro Hero 8 Black. Now, I've mounted it onto a Ultrapod tripod, and that tripod also has a Velcro wrap, so I've got the flexibility of either just putting it on the ground to film or on a rock, or I can also mount it to my trekking poles, or I can mount it to a branch or something if I want to hit a different type of shot. This type of setup is different from what I used to do. I used to actually mount it to my trekking pole for the whole time, but what I found was the constant bumping from the trekking poles was jarring the battery loose inside, and it would constantly shut down on me. So this time I'm not going to be mounting it to the pole. I'm going to be carrying it, and I'll get into that in a second. My phone is the iPhone SE 2020 version. Nothing fancy. Don't really need a huge, iPhone 12 with all kinds of fancy cameras and stuff. This does plenty good for communicating. I'll be running GutHooks app on it for checking the trail status and stuff like that, and user input, following the trail. I can also use it for photos and some journaling as well if I need to. So for each one of these cameras, the GoPro and the G7X, I have extra battery for each, so I have a total of 2 batteries, and I have multiple SD cards as well to make sure I got enough storage medium for the trip. And all my cameras that I'm carrying during the day are going to be going into this here. This is the Hyperlight mountain gear. It's the Versa. It is really, really convenient for carrying this type of equipment. If you look here on the back, it's got straps here. I actually have the straps taken off right now, but it has a buckle strap here. You can use it as a belly bag. But the way I'm using it, you tuck these things in, and it's got this rear pocket where I can put it through my hip belt and use it as a mounted pouch on the belt. You can also use it on your sternum strap up here, which is a little more convenient. I've tried it both ways. I like both ways. I'm not really sure what's going to work out the best on the trail, but we'll see. But either way, it is a very convenient, highly water resistant, and I'd say almost waterproof because it's got the waterproof zippers on. So my phone will go in the front here. My GoPro and my Canon G7X will go in here. And basically it's going to make it very convenient for me to get these things in and out as I need to take pictures or film. Alright, so moving on to the charging here. My charging battery that I'm going to be using for the trip is the Anchor. This is a 26,800 milliamp. Yes, it's a brick, but it's well worth the price and weight. I'll be using this in conjunction with a charging station for my GoPro batteries. I can charge 2 at the same time on this. Just a regular dual port charger for wall ports whenever I can get power, like VVR or hotels. Multiple wires to go with everything. The Anchor is really cool because it has 3 outputs. I can recharge 3 devices at the same time, but more importantly, it's got actually 2 inputs, and that allows this thing to charge way fast. I think I timed it one time. It took between 4 and 6 hours for a complete charge, and that'll come into play here in a second also. So I am taking my Anchor PowerPort Solar. This thing is a 25 watt solar panel. It's got 3 panels, and I'm going to be hanging it off the back of my backpack as needed. Now it does have 2 separate, I'm not going to open it up right now, but it's got actually 2 outputs on it, and that kind of merges well with the Anchor because I can charge it using 2 ports. So each USB out on this is, I think, 5 watts. So using the 2 USB outputs from this and matching that with the 2 inputs, it really cuts down on the charging time for the Anchor. Now, all of the electronics that I'm not carrying in here, things I don't need, like my SD cards, extra batteries, the charging brick, etc., are going in this just little travel case that I picked up at the, I think it was the Container Store or something. But everything fits here nice and neat, and I'm going to put this inside a waterproof sleeve in the top of my backpack so it's accessible if I need it, but it's also protected from the weather. Alright, so for my packed clothing on the trail, I got a few extras in here, probably more than I need, but I'll explain that in a minute. Start with my rain gear. My raincoat of choice is going to be the Outdoor Research 4A jacket. Moved away from the Marmot Precip just because the Marmot tends to wet out after a while. This jacket's actually a Gore-Tex material, so I'm hoping it's going to do a lot better for me on the trail. This is brand new for me. I haven't actually used it yet, but I know a couple people that I'm hiking with have it, and it should be sufficient. I am taking a pair of rain pants. This is the Marmot Precip rain pants in the long. Don't usually hike in the rain too much anyways, but if we do have to, they should work. But the primary reason I'm taking these is for another warmth layer in camp. I have a extra pair of ex officio underwear. I love the ex officios, that's all I wear these days. I have an extra pair of socks. These are the Darn Tough Cool Max socks. So I have one pair I'm hiking in. This is the duplicate pair, and I'll swap them out as needed, drying the other pair on the pack or on the rocks when we take breaks. Really important to keep your feet dry. So I'm bringing a Arc'teryx t-shirt just for an option to hike in. I don't think I'm going to do that, but you know, there might be times where I want short sleeve as opposed to my long sleeve PFG. I have a pair of Nike Dry Fit shorts. These are I think a 5-inch inseam. These are going to be, again, I can hike in these. I do like hiking in these sometimes, but in the Sierra that's probably going to be hard because of the sun intensity, but I will take these as a option to go swimming in if I don't want to swim in the underwear. So for my warmth layers, I'll start with my puffy jacket. This is a Eddie Bauer First Ascent down jacket. So this will be worn as needed for cold weather and probably after dark. It is packable. It does come in its own little handy zippered packable pouch. For gloves, I'm taking a waterproof pair of gloves just because hiking in cold and rain and snow, stuff like that, my hands get cold. So these are the Cirrus Extreme weatherproof gloves. Hopefully I don't need them this year, but in case we do get some cold nights or whatever, I have them available. Under Armour storm beanie for sleeping at night, and also if I need it during the day. And for my sleeping layers, several items here as well. I will be wearing an Under Armour pair of long inseam underwear. These are just for sleeping. I have a pair, if I need them, Smart Wool Long Johns. It's a mid layer. Actually, I think it's a lightweight layer. So this is a Cool KUHL brand 3/4 zip merino wool top for a base layer. I do love sleeping in this even on mild nights. Sometimes I can just sleep in this and not have to totally wrap up in the mummy bag. The socks I'm going to use strictly for sleeping is just a generic brand Smart Wool type sock. Now underneath this layer here, the Cool, I'm going to be using a very comfortable t-shirt that was sent to me by the Rugged Outdoorsman, and appreciate that, guys. But when I put this on after I tried it, I said, man, I have got to take this and sleep in it because it's a poly cotton blend, so there is some warmth factor to it, but it's very, very comfortable up against the skin. So this is going to be what I'm going to be wearing in camp, and then if I need to, I can put on the other layers as needed. So for my cook kit setup, I'm using the Windmaster Soto. The stove has a regulator. You can control the burn pretty well. It has a piezo lighter. And it comes with a 3-pronged burner holder for your pot. And I'm going to be just putting it inside this other little X-Ped pillow holder just to keep it from scratching the inside of my pot. This was what my pillow actually came in. So speaking of the pot, I'm using the Tokes. This is about a 2-cup, I think it's the 500 milliliter titanium pot, and it will be going inside the original holder to protect it. And I believe I am taking the lid as well, just to keep everything nice and tight in there. We will be purchasing our fuel in Mammoth Lakes because obviously we can't ship or travel with it. We'll be using both the 4-ounce and the 8-ounce canister size depending on which leg of the trip we're on. Obviously the shorter legs we're going to be taking the 4-ounce. I'm taking this Sea to Summit expandable, collapsible, whatever you call it, cup. Very handy. I'm not going to be drinking coffee, but I am taking hot chocolate. So this is going to be for my mornings and evenings on the trail where I'm drinking the hot chocolate. Most of the cooked meals that I'm doing are going to be the Mountain House meals. A couple of the Knorr pasta sides I'm taking as well. So I'll be taking 1 foil pack on each leg, and I'll probably renew it a different pack each one. I have them in my resupplies. Basically what this does is it gives us a method to put our meals inside it, give it some sort of form to hold it because they're just going to be in Ziploc bags. And then you can also seal these up for the rehydrating, and then this goes inside this Big Sky International. It's ultralight cozy. So basically the meal gets put inside, seal it up, set it down for 10-15 minutes while it's rehydrating. You go and do other things, but this helps on the rehydrating process, makes it go quicker with retaining a lot of the heat. My spoon of choice is I believe it's Sea to Summit. Yes, it's Sea to Summit titanium spoon. I used to use the spork, but I found that the spork really didn't serve me any purpose, and a lot of times scraping the bottom of the bags out with the spork and you weren't really getting a good scrape, so I just stuck with a spoon. Alright, bear canister, which is required on most of this trip, so we're just going to carry it the whole way. I went with the Wild Ideas Barricade Weekender. Very lightweight. This thing weighs less than actually my BV 450 and can fit almost as much as the BV 500 in cubic inches. Very convenient. Aluminum lid. Get secured down with 3 screws. Use a quarter or a washer or anything like that to secure it, and keeps the bears from getting in your food. Got it decorated out, got some reflective tape all around the sides and the top, just so in case it gets battered around at night, which is what it's meant to do. Once the bears are gone, then we can find it with a flashlight. Nothing like spending an hour and a half trying to find your bear can after somebody's gotten a hold of it. So basically, the stove and the burner holder, pot holder, gets put inside this container here. That gets dropped inside my Tokes pot. Now I will also have a Bic lighter that I'm purchasing there, a little mini Bic, just for a backup to the piezo, because sometimes they do fail. And that will get put into this very cushy foam holder here. So, my cup will also be in the bear can, spoon will be in the bear can, and the cozy will be in the bear can. Again, anything that has residual scent has to go in the bear can or else you're going to lose it. So my water filtration system is pretty simple. Using the Sawyer brand. This is the micro, not the mini, but the micro. The reason I went with this is it's given a lot better flow than the mini, and it's actually pretty close to the actual full-size Sawyer squeeze, and has worked well for me in the past. So I'm going with it. Just a little pop top here on the end of it for shutting off the water flow. I'm taking the back flush syringe with it to clean it out. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to have a dirty water bottle, and sorry I don't have my second 1 liter. One of these is going to be replaced with 1 liter. So I'm going to have 1 liter clean, 1 liter dirty, and basically on the dirty water bottle, this will just get squeezed on there, or screwed on there, squeezed into the other bottle. And that's basically how the Sawyer products work. Now what I do have is an extra 1 liter bag for any carries where we need to go for an extended period of time. I can carry an extra liter for a total of 3, for instance Mount Whitney. But I've also included a paracord so I can actually hang, and with the Sawyer micro screwed onto here, there is a coupler that I can use to actually join this to the bottle, and I can do a gravity hang. So that way it frees my hands up for a while. I can go and do other things like setting up camp or cooking while I have the water filtering. Technically, with this kind of a coupler, you can actually put 2 bottles together as well. Now, it gets tricky because you have to loosen up the coupler on your receiving bottle for it to work well. Otherwise, you're fighting the pressure between the 2 bottles. But I do it both ways, depending on what kind of time I have. Third bottle is going to be for my bidet. You can see I've marked it pretty significantly so I don't make that mistake of drinking water out of here. And that's pretty much it for the water setup. Alright, so now I want to go over some of the other items I'm either carrying or they're in my pack that fall under different categories like miscellaneous, hygiene, some survival items, extra packs and things I'm taking on the trip. So let's start with my trekking poles. This is going to be definitely carried, using them while I hike. These are the REI carbon power lock, carbon fiber obviously, and very lightweight. I've been using these since 2017 I believe, and haven't failed me yet. Still going strong. No real signs of stress or wear on them, other than the foam pads. I've fallen a couple times, so they're kind of chewed up. Some items that are going to be mostly in my bear can. I'll carry some of these during the day, but I've got some banana boats and 50 SPF sunblock. I've got a second sunblock here, it's a 55 that I can use for my nose and ears. It's basically a roll-on. And I'm using the Sawyer picaridin. This is some pretty good bug spray. Not using DEET because DEET doesn't get along with some of the synthetic materials that you might be wearing or carrying. I've got some Purell hand sanitizer, and I've got some, this is Burt's Bees chapstick. I'm probably going to change this out for a SPF rated chapstick when I get to Mammoth. I need something for my lips. And I've got my very small amount of toothpaste. This is a travel size. It's only about halfway used. And a cut-off generic toothbrush that I'm using for brushing my teeth every day. And all those are going to go in this baggie here, and they will be put into my bear can at night before we go to bed. So this is my first aid kit. It's obviously not the adventure kit that started out that way many years ago, but I'm just using the container at this point. It's kind of morphed into its own little monster here. And I'll kind of go through what I got in here for a first aid kit. Now this is both a first aid kit and a repair kit. So I do have my Thermarest field repair kit. I've got an extra O-ring from my Sawyer squeeze in case it fails. They do fail occasionally after a lot of use. I've got a pair of gloves just in case first aid is deemed necessary. This little bag here has got some extra paracord just for miscellaneous use. It's got some earplugs in case I get some snoring campers nearby. I have a small amount of dental floss. This is good for not only your teeth, but you can use it for sewing repairs onto backpacks and other items. Comes pretty handy. I'm going to take this just for the heck of it because I always carry it anyways, but it's a dual-sized pencil sharp. I use it for making shavings whenever I need to build a fire. It makes for some good fire starter stuff. This year, more than likely, not going to use it just because of the fire situation in California, but I'm always going to have it with me. So my knife for this trip, basically I carry this all the time as well, is the Leatherman Squirt PS4. Very small, butterfly style. Got some minor tools in it, and just one blade. That's really all you need for a trip like this. I'm not going to be doing any heavy cutting. It's enough for minor items, like it's got a small screwdriver, pliers, things like that. That's really all I need for the trail. I'm carrying some repair tape. This is Tenacious tape, good for repairing packs, repairing backpacks, things like that. On my kit, I always carry a whistle. This is a Fox, I think it's a Fox 40, just for emergencies in case it's needed. And here is my washer that I use for opening up my barricade weekender. It's on paracord locked in there, it's not going anywhere. And then there's my regular first aid kit. I'm not going to pull everything out of here, obviously, but I've got gauze pads, bandages, gauze wrap, some medications here for diarrhea and otherwise, Neosporin for infections, and you can't really see it there, but I got some Tylenol and Advil. Call that vitamin I, ibuprofen, and pretty much standard band-aids and everything in here that you would get on a normal first aid kit. And all this stuff here gets put into my adventure kit outside. And it all fits in there pretty well. So as you may or may not know, GMT and pretty much leave no trace principles anyways, you're supposed to pack out your toilet paper or wipes. You are not supposed to bury them anymore. Used to be the case years ago, you bury everything, but now that's pretty much frowned upon. So I've come up with my own little system of packing this stuff out. I have regular doggy bags here for pet waste. And I take one for each day that I'm on the trail. I have a stack of wipes for each section of the trail, and my bidet top here, which will go onto one of the bottles I showed you earlier. But anyway, these baggies will contain the dirty wipes, and the dirty wipes will be going inside another plastic Ziploc bag that I have in my pack, just to kind of hides the the messy look and all that. And then those will be deposited whenever we get to a location that we can throw them away. My trowel, which is going to be used for digging holes, is the Deuce of Spades. Very lightweight aluminum. It's very popular the last few years. No need to carry a big, huge, heavy trowel when this will do. And if anything ever happens to this, I do have the trekking poles you can use to dig sometimes, depending on your terrain, and sticks and rocks out there do just as well. I've got a baggie here with for my navigation and documentation kit, and everything in here is basically paper related except for the compass. I got maps, permits, things I need for coming into town, things I need to know. I got a crib sheet printed up here. I actually made my own maps from CalTopo, and I'm actually planning probably on doing a video of that eventually. But these are pretty nice, very detailed maps, a lot of information, and to go with it, when you print out the profile and elevation profiles, they give you a lot of information. So I have each day printed on one of these sheets. This is a 5-day stretch for our beginning of the trip, and what this shows you is your elevation, your mileage. I kind of put labels on here. It gives you all kinds of stats and terrain cover, terrain angle. A lot of useful information in CalTopo that you can get out of it if you take the time and learn the program. So that's what I've done. Made my own maps, and this is going with me. So since I am doing a lot of documenting on video, I also kind of want to keep a trail journal, things that I might not remember from each day on the trail, names, people I meet, significant things that happened. That's going to help document the videos at a later time. I'm going to be using the National Geographic John Muir trail map as well. This is just an overview. I like the maps better for detail than I do this. They are similar. These maps I'll probably only use in a pinch if I need to for navigation. This is going to be one I'm going to have readily available, you know, in my pocket or something like that. I can just open up and glance at it. Mechanical pencil, very light, and I don't need to sharpen it, so it's really easy to use. Can't really fail unless I break it. And I have the Cento M3D compass for navigation. I always carry a compass whether I need it or not. Everybody swears you don't need it on the John Muir Trail because everything is really marked. Problem comes in, you know, if you need to bail out, you're going on a side trail or something like that, you may need to use these maps as well as maybe something on a handheld GPS. It helps to have the compass with you just for that navigation. And sometimes, hey, California is wildfires, you know. You may not be able to see very far, so this is where the compass is going to come in handy in saving your butt. So over here I've got just a regular Coleman towel. It'll be hanging off my pack behind me, so I can reach around and actually wipe myself off with it. Being bald, I sweat a lot, so that's probably going to be used quite a bit. I got my Ben's head net. This will be in the top part of my pack just in case we hit one of those lakeside campsites where there are going to be mozzies everywhere. I'm also taking a very lightweight clothesline. This is like a 10-foot clothesline. Planning on doing laundry occasionally as needed on the trail. We got some of the camp soap, and that stuff is just very, very concentrated, so you only need a little bit of it in your bear can or whatever you're going to be washing clothes in. But again, leave no trace for the laundry. We're definitely going to be doing that away from water sources. So I got a pair of prescription sunglasses that I wear on the trail, and when I'm not needing them, like on cloudy days or whatever, I'll probably put them into this case. When I'm wearing my sunglasses, the glasses from my head will go into here just for protection. I can't afford to break my glasses on the trail because they are really needed just for me to see. I'll be taking the Thermarest Z Seat. This thing is pretty awesome. Just picked it up about a month ago. Haven't used it yet. A lot of people swear by it. Very useful, very convenient, has a lot of utility. And I'm going to be using it, number one, for sitting probably in my lunch hour. But I've also wanted to use it in front of my doorway on my tent, just so when I'm kneeling down and getting the tent, it helps to keep your tent clean and you're not dragging a lot of sand or dirt in. Last but not least, this is the Blue Line American flag. Stays on my pack all the time. I carry it around in support of the guys that I've worked for many years. The guys out there walking that blue line, 100% behind them and what they do. And I always, you know, try and recognize them and support them in what they do. So this is planned on being flown high on Mount Whitney when we get up there. Now for travel, my backpack and resupply box for the first part is going to be placed in this REI Road Tripper. It's 140 liter. It will carry my backpack, my trekking poles, and a small box with my first couple resupplies of food in it. And I use a TSA lock here, and that way, you know, your lock's not getting cut by TSA, and you know, possibly bad things happen. I'm not saying that my airlines are bad, but bad things do happen sometimes. So definitely going with a lock on it. And TSA can open these up, inspect your bag as needed, and then relock it. Now on the plane and while we were in Mammoth, I'm going to be taking my day pack. I've had this thing for many years as well. It's the Osprey Talon 22. Nice day pack, simple, couple of hip pockets. It's got a sternum strap, hip belt, everything you need for hiking. Plenty of room inside. I've got a pocket here, two pockets on the side for water bottles, and a utility zipper up here for some smaller items. I love this thing to death. Good ventilation, very lightweight, and I'll be using it for our day hikes and walks around town while we're in Mammoth acclimating. Alright guys, so I have packed the pack exactly as it's going to be on trail, and just want to kind of show you around what I've done with it. Obviously my sternum pack and my hip belt pack is here. I don't have it attached because I'm not wearing the pack. Trekking poles obviously aren't going to be really mounted to the pack, but I will be carrying them. So one of the reasons I mount my tent to the bottom of the pack is simply for the reason you see right here. When I set the pack down, this keeps the pack upright, kind of convenient, so I don't have to lay it down where it's going to get all dirty. I put my extra pair of shoes right here in the elastic compartment. And let me swing around here for you. Got my towel mounted here. I need to reach back and wipe my sweat off or whatever needs to be done. Got my Garmin mounted with the carabiner here on the front right strap. Left strap, I've got my water bottle, and I know I didn't mention this earlier in the video, but I use Justin Anderson's water bottle holder. I can put a link down below for that if you're interested in looking him up. But he makes some good quality products here. He does cell phone holders and water bottle holders. The main reason I went with the left side from a water bottle holder is I can utilize the trekking pole strap here to keep the water bottle holder still so it doesn't kind of flap around on you. The bottle holder has enough support, but it just swings a little more than I'm comfortable with, so I'm using that to keep it in place. Works really well. So on my right side of my pack, I have my 2 smart water bottles. And on the bottom, I have my water filter. And on the other side, this is all of my rain gear, including my rain jacket, rain pants, and my pack cover. Top of my pack has first aid kit, map kit. I can put snacks up here, anything that I need some easy access to through the zipper pocket. On the inside of the flap, I have a mesh area with a zipper, and I've just got a few small items in there, and that would be my head net, my wallet with my money and everything else I might be carrying, and the clothesline item. Alright guys, well that is it in a nutshell. This is what I'm taking and how I'm carrying it. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, hit the thumbs up, give us a like down below, and consider subscribing to the channel. You'll get notifications every time I release a new video. And if you know anybody that's interested in this material, please share the videos with them. So that's it for today. And until I see you next time, happy trails.